We bought a bakery, but we didn't get the recipe books. Honestly, nope. Nope.
Funny story.
You want to talk about that? We can talk about that. So, local stature. We'll say the real deal. Local stature is actually another person's idea. Young lady by the name of Reagan, who
Your husband.
and her husband.
Yes.
They started out and they did laser engraved states with your local map on it. Basically the city of either where you lived, the city where you met your significant other, something that was of significance. And they did a really cool design. And they just did some gorgeous work. And so Blair and I have full-time jobs. And so we were looking for something else, looking for a side hustle. I had been doing woodworking for years and I kind of got into doing tables and all that. I've had 3 back surgeries and I got tired of lifting stuff that was really heavy. So I was looking for stuff that you could make and slide in an envelope and sell, because that doesn't weigh anything. So laser engraving was kind of cool. Well, somebody brought up, I think it was your hairdresser?
Yeah, the girl that does my hair, she knew that I did some woodworking too, and she knew you did woodworking, and her client was moving and selling their business and their machine. So she just kind of threw it out there. I mentioned it to my husband, and he was like, you need to mention that to your brother, and you guys need to buy that.
Right.
And so we did.
So we got super excited. We ran over there, we saw this machine. They had this laser they've been using for a couple of years, and they kind of was telling us to process this and that. And I was like, this is awesome. And like our minds went crazy and we were going to do this. The only thing was Reagan and her husband were leaving in 2 weeks, or moving in 2 weeks. And so we said, you know what, let's just pull the trigger, let's do it. And so we decided, instead of just buying the laser, we're going to buy their whole company, because she had done all this phenomenal marketing, and she was
so organized.
Yeah. And she had done all her web design and all her her packaging was just gorgeous. And so we were like, yes, we want this.
It took a lot of the guesswork out of and like the trial and error of that part of a business.
Right.
Yeah, because everything was set up and done, like with the social media, email accounts,
she had a list of our suppliers,
exactly. It was
list
awesome.
of all her parts.
Yeah.
Anything she ever did, she was crazy organized and awesome. The only thing we forgot to do, or we didn't get to do in that 2 weeks, was learn the process of making exactly what she made. Mm-hmm. And so when you take over one of these, they're awesome, but you have to learn the design software. Then you have to learn the power settings on how to use one of these.
Just how to run a laser.
And it's just so much to learn. And then you have to turn around and learn how to design what she did. So we didn't learn that part of it. So I kind of describe it as we bought a bakery, but we didn't get the recipe books. Now I can make cookies. Mm-hmm. I just can't make cookies like the person before us.
They had a couple secret ingredients.
They had lots of secret ingredients, and we just didn't get those, and we just couldn't get it to work right.
And that was offered at first, and not that like she didn't, go back on it.
She's got a whole other chapter of her life.
She moved to a different state,
and it's hard to do things long distance. So we toured around, and then we got over here. We were trying to learn the laser, and we were trying to do this, and then we come to find out somehow in the moving process, we think we might have broken the laser, or at least we thought we did.
No, it was actually, you don't use it, you lose it.
Could be that too.
Yeah, because I feel like that's what I remember the company actually saying, that they didn't realize it until 2020 happened and COVID hit, and like they learned with schools that had laser machines,
right,
because they sat there for months not being used,
right,
and then when they would go to use it, the tube was bad.
Right.
And so that was kind of our situation, because they had not used it very much, and when we first got it, we didn't use it very much because we were trying to figure out everything.
Right.
And then when we started trying to use it, we only got to use it for a little bit, and then the tube went bad.
Yeah, the tube went bad, then the power supply went bad, then something else went bad, and that particular company's customer service was horrible.
Yeah, they didn't like it if you had not been the original purchaser.
So we kept fighting, and I finally said, all right, we can junk the machine, and we spend our money and we're done. Or we can spend more money keep going. So we decided to, of course, spend more money.
There was also an issue with the software with the old machine.
Yeah.
It wasn't updated, and you couldn't update. They offered it first, and then they never responded to us, the company.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing. It's like our hands were tied.
Right.
Even if we did spend a lot of money, we still would be kind of in the dark ages as far as like where lasers were now.
Right.
So
yeah. So we did some research, and we got this machine. This is OMTech 40 by 24. It's a 100-watt laser. It was in our price point for what we're doing now. We will probably upgrade later. We absolutely will upgrade later. But right now, it does a phenomenal job for us, so we're pretty happy with it.
very happy with it.
So, but that's kind of where we are now. So now we're to the point where we're like, okay, we're still going to keep the name because we like the name, and we kind of like everything about it. And so, but we're going to make it our own. And so we've got to narrow down what we're going to make our own.
Decide, do we narrow down?
And we get super excited about, we ADD siblings. So we get very distracted very easily, and then we get very hyper-focused on certain things, but we bounce around a lot. So we just kind of have to reel it in. But at the same time, I'm going to take every job that I think is a challenge, and we learn something from it.
Yeah, I think that's another thing, because, talking to people and explaining to people what we do, and they're just like, oh, let me see your website, or let me see your, socials or Instagram or whatever. I mean, we do have the website up, but we just don't have a ton of stuff on there because a lot of times we don't know what to focus on, as in what should we put on there.
Right.
And then,
or I'm making it so quick, or you're making it so quick.
We
that
don't
we got to get it out.
Photograph
we don't
it.
Photograph it.
And then,
That's
but then it's it looks like we're not doing any
done.
work, but it's a lot of stuff is word of mouth, and we just take, and it's always different. It's always different project, and we just keep doing those different projects. But then it's okay, is that a project we should put on there? I don't know. I don't know.
What do you think? And everybody's like, yes, and some people's like,
right,
whatever.
Yeah, I tried to experiment one time and posted a lot of pictures of kind of just a carousel of different things, and there was no response to it. And so I was like, well, let's take that off. But then it's, then you talk to people in person, they're like, yeah, I want that. Make that for me. Can I have 3 of those? I'm going to give that to so-and-so. So it's trying to figure out, there's just so many aspects of the business. I mean, because it's not only your website, your social media, it's what you're actually going to make. And yeah, it's just a lot to figure out. And we have a hard time focusing.
Yep.
This looks good.
All right, gotta do the other half.